Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be teaching you how to make the perfect chocolate chip cookie. So make sure you stick around. So the formula for every chocolate chip cookie is white sugar, brown sugar, pure vanilla extract, eggs, unsalted butter, salt, baking soda, and all-purpose flour, and of course chocolate chips. And if you want some nuts, you throw that in there too. Now, what makes one cookie different from the next cookie are the measurements, okay, and also the way in which you assembled your ingredients. You're going to need your dry measuring cup, you're going to need a wooden spoon, you're going to need a baking sheet lined with some parchment paper, a wire rack, 2 empty bowls because we're going to separate our wet ingredients from our dry ingredients. You're going to need a sifter to sift out your dry ingredients. Spoon your flour into your dry measuring cup. Then you want to level it off with your butter knife. So you're going to measure out 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Into this, you're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So after you sift your dry ingredients together, now go ahead and take a whisk or a fork or whatever you have handy. But you want to mix those dry ingredients up because you want to make sure that your salt and your baking soda is evenly mixed in with the flour, okay? Get your other empty bowl and we're going to work on our wet ingredients. So you're going to measure out a 1/3 cup of white sugar. And you're going to measure out 2/3 cups of packed brown sugar. You can use dark brown or you can use light brown sugar. So as you can see here, I'm using dark brown. I did have a little light brown in there, but it doesn't matter. You can use dark brown or light brown. Pack it into your measuring cup, level it off with your butter knife, and drop it in there with the white sugar. And now go ahead and take a whisk and mix up your sugars. Now to this, you're going to add unsalted butter. You also want to make sure your butter is not hot. Your butter should be at room temperature. Melted butter at room temperature. Add it to the sugars. Mix it up well with your wooden spoon, and you should have an applesauce-like consistency. So now we're going to add the eggs. We are using 1 whole egg and 1 egg yolk. You can use room temperature eggs, but if your eggs are slightly cold, that's okay. Go in with your wooden spoon, mix it up really well. Now your wet ingredients should have a creamy-like consistency. And don't worry about over mixing. Mix it as much as you need to mix it at this point, just to make sure those ingredients are well incorporated together. You'll need 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract to your wet ingredients and mix it up very, very well. So now go ahead and grab your dry ingredients. You're only going to add half of the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. Now, the reason for this is so that you can mix it up easier without risking over mixing. You want to mix it until it is just incorporated together. Once you no longer see flour, stop. And as you can see, I am very gently mixing the cookie dough at this point. If you are too rough with it. If you overmix it, then the gluten in that flour will begin to form and it will mess up the texture of your cookie. So you want to be very, very gentle at this point. Gently mix it together until it is just combined. So now if you have a rubber spatula, you can use that and just scrape the sides of the bowl just to get that remaining flour in there. Now you're going to add pecans. I'm using 1 cup. 1.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can use any type of chocolate that you prefer. And you're just going to fold these ingredients in together. So now from here, we're going to cover this with some plastic wrap and you're going to refrigerate this for 30 minutes to 1 hour. I prefer an hour, but you can do 30 minutes if you want. The purpose of refrigerating the cookie dough is because we want to solidify the fats that's in the dough, and that's going to prevent it from just spreading out way too quickly once you place those cookies in the oven. All right, so here we are 1 hour later. The cookie dough is nice and chilled. I'm going to pop these onto my baking sheet here. Also at this point, make sure that your oven is preheated to 325. Do not place your cookies into the oven until the temperature is at 325. Your cookies should take anywhere between 12 to 15 minutes to bake, okay? You want to make sure that you take your cookies out of the oven just before they are done. Do not allow them to over bake in the oven. Now you can let them cool on your baking sheet for about an extra minute. Then you're going to place these on top of your wire rack, and this is what they look like once you break them open. These cookies are perfect. They are soft on the inside, chewy on the outside. Perfect. Look, I hope that you guys will try these cookies and let me know what you think about my recipe, and I hope to catch you in my next video.